Welcome to a Friday edition of the CK podcast. I'm with a very special guest, Ashley Nevel, NBA reporter from Phoenix, Arizona. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I am not great, but I'm happy to be here with you.
Oh, okay.
As I've been off for about 3 days now. This would be my third day, as everyone already knows. If you do follow me on social media. I have a level 4 high ankle sprain. I went up for a block, came down, and my new cotton shot Russell Westbrook's too. That hurt, man, because I was like, man, I waited 14 days for these shoes to order them overseas, and then that happened. Obviously, it wasn't the shoe's fault. I'll put that out there right now. It was just a freak accident, and yeah, we're going to dissect a lot of things that's happened in the past 3 days, especially today with all the rumors heading into free agency.
Oh,
The
man.
Phoenix Suns are going to be big-time players, I think. We'll see what you say. Kemba Walker to the Celtics, potentially. The
Yep.
Kings with Harrison Barnes and maybe Al Horford. But before we start all that, this episode is presented by Valley Tire Center. Make sure to download their new mobile app if you want a chance to watch the Suns versus the Kings next year in Section 106. Those are lower bowl tickets, guys. So make sure to visit valleytirecenterwoodland.com for more information. Ashley, talk to me about, real quick, the NBA awards. Were you shocked with any of the awards, with any of the winners, or were you just satisfied?
I was only shocked by the point that Montrezl Harrell was also up for a Sixth Man of the Year award. When he's so if Lou Williams is a sixth man, how is Montrez also a sixth man? It doesn't make any sense. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie got gypped on that. That made me kind of upset. Maybe just because I'm cool with Spencer, so I was like, I'm really rooting for this guy. But
he's a stud. No, he's a stud.
So I thought that was not really fair. But I mean, Lou Will was going to win it anyways. I mean, Lou Will is one of those guys. He's like a Jamal Crawford when it comes to six man. He's going to have multiple. He's just one of those guys who deserves it every year in and year out. But besides that, I wasn't really shocked by any other award. I mean, the MVP could have gone to either Giannis or James Harden. I know James has done remarkable things that most players dream of doing that will never be able to accomplish. But at the end of the day, it's Giannis. And I think he put up amazing numbers this season. I could have gone either way. And I know that we're supposed to base it off of regular season. But if we're looking at postseason, Giannis would have been the clear cut. But that's just me.
Talking about Giannis, his shoe release today on the Nike sneaker app. What did you think so far about his shoe?
I've heard mixed reviews and I've seen mixed reviews. Do you like the colors? Do you like the shoe itself? I wouldn't buy them.
You wouldn't buy them? Okay.
No, I'm picky. I'm weird. I'm really picky when it comes to shoes. Like, a lot of people get all hype because it's like, ooh, I need to get in line for this particular shoe just because of the name behind it or the brand behind it. But I'm gonna judge a shoe off of what it looks like. Those like for example, Balenciagas. I mean, y'all are gonna pay thousands of dollars for those ugly shoes. Please, no, not me. I'm not one of those people.
Talking about shoes, right before we get into anything else, Donovan Mitchell shoes came out yesterday.
Okay.
Did you like those?
Hold on, you didn't tell me these were the questions. Let me go peep it. I can't know everything. Let's see.
So go on our Instagram. It's the first photo. Adidas did it on purpose. Obviously, they knew that Nike was going to release Giannis' shoes after he won. So they did a little bit of competition. I like the Marvel collab with Adidas, Spider-Man, Spider Mitchell. I like both shoes. If I didn't have these injuries, I'd probably cop both. But I'm going to have to wait because neither shoe would probably fit my fat ankle right now.
Well, the Donovan Mitchell shoes look a little heavy. They kind of remind me of a LeBron shoe, a little bit heavier of a shoe. I bet you the Nike Air Zoom Freak ones, I bet you those are comfortable. I'm willing to bet. I mean, in my experience, most shoes that kind of are shaped like that are a little bit more comfortable, but I would have to know how they feel on my feet. I'm not a fan of the colors though, of either one. I'm not a fan.
Uh-oh.
No,
that's not your type of colors? Are you just the basic white and black type?
Yeah, I like basic. Yeah, I like basic white and black. Obviously, like black and red for the Bulls. I mean, those are dope colors. What else ones do I wear? I mean, I like pink because I'm a girl. Obviously, like I'm very girly when it comes to certain shoes. I like pink, but I am very simple. I own a lot of black shoes just because they match with everything. You know, you can't go wrong with black or white. White gets dirty, but when it comes, I don't know. I think the shoes are just so overhyped, and it's a lot of times it's like, are y'all buying the shoes for comfort or for how they look? And then and like clearly you just got a whole new pair of shoes and suddenly you got injured. I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason, but I mean, we all wanted to point the finger at Adidas when Derrick Rose went down.
Right.
So it's always blaming the shoe. What about Zion with his shoe? I mean, he busted out of his shoe. So I need a shoe that's comfort.
Okay.
But also needs to look good.
So you're going with New Balances, new Kawhi Leonard's in.
You're not gonna catch me in New Balance.
Oh, no, you just said comfort though. You just said comfort though. Okay.
I know, but I'm not gonna risk. It has to be a good balance of looking good and feeling good. No New Balance for me. I'm good on that.
All righty. So the Phoenix Suns, you cover the team there in Phoenix. What can you tell us about what we should expect in free agency? What is the team looking for in terms of, are they looking for depth on the wing? Are they going to bring back Kelly Oubre?
Yes.
Are they looking for a backup point guard, a starting point guard? What's going on in Phoenix?
Okay, so here's how I'm going to break this down. I really hope you have a good following of Phoenix Suns fans that are watching this right now. That'd be great because they always like to just misconstrue and just assume what I'm saying. So I just like to break it down for everybody. When I tweet things, typically it's because I do have some sort of an inside information, an inside source. But again, as you know, things change. So a player can tell me one thing and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, this team offered me this, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm going to go with this team or whatever. Or a team source might say, hey, we're going after this guy, but that might change. So they're like, oh, but your sources lied to you. It's not about lying. It's about just what they told me at the time. I mean, how often do you change your mind?
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing here too. Like if I hear something here with the Kings that they might do this and then last second, oh, we may not do that. At the end of the day, it's all speculation, right?
Yes, until it happens. So that's why I don't really like to like make certain like predictions right away. But I know they are looking at perimeter guys, which is something that they saw, I guess, in Cam Johnson, where there was a report, Gambo had tweeted that he reached out to some other teams who worked out with Cam, who said that he's got a three-point shot like Klay Thompson. And I'm assuming if they're going to be throwing comparisons like a Klay Thompson, you got a 3-and-D kind of guy because that's what Klay is about. He's a three-point shooter, but he could play defense. I mean, he's one of the toughest guys to guard, and he's one of the toughest guys to have on you as a player. And I've heard this from multiple players as well.
He's elite.
He is one of the best.
He's an elite defender, no doubt.
One of the best. So they are looking for those kinds of guys, those 3-and-D guys. They're looking for good locker room guys. Guys with personality, guys who want to win. They don't want to deal with any of this lazy stuff coming into practice and just not have. I mean, you could feel it, last year where it was like you could feel kind of like the chemistry. You could just kind of feel like it. Just not everyone was happy. And then there's also little bickering between certain players about minutes, or I don't even know. There's just other things that go on that people don't see. But
did that have to do with Igor being there, or was it just more of an overall culture thing going on in Phoenix? Because people in Phoenix, people that I've spoken to, they tend to put the blame on Igor, but me on the outside looking in, I was like, well, he didn't get a fair chance to implement his offense and implement his culture. Am I kind of accurate in that sense?
I think it's a mix, just because if you see how many coaches they've had in the past couple of years, how are you able to establish any type of culture with no stability?
Right.
So when you look at a guy like Igor, yes, they didn't give him enough chance, but at the same time, a lot of the players really couldn't connect to him. He was very difficult to connect with. But what was interesting, as I heard from an inside source, is that they all knew they were being fired, like after training camp, after like they all first started. They knew. Because if you think about this, Ryan McDonough's the guy that basically chose him as the coach and chose all those guys. and then he gets fired. Clearly, James Jones was going in a different direction from the start, but he was stuck with what he had. Because you can't just like hire a coach and then fire him a couple of days later without even having one season under his belt. So when you look at that, like we already knew from the start, Igor is not going to be staying for another year. He's a good assistant coach. You know, other players told me he's a good assistant coach. Some other players told me I can't really understand what he's saying sometimes.
Okay.
And also in terms of holding players accountable, he's a very quiet, low-key guy. He's very nice. I don't think he was tough on them. You know, he kind of let some of them walk all over him. And I think there needs to be a good balance of a coach just putting you in your place that we see from other coaches. I mean, Doc Rivers, I mean, he's not gonna stand down to Patrick Beverley or Montrezl Harrell. Like, he's gonna tell you like it is. And if you don't like it, you're gonna sit. So I think them hiring a guy like Monty, there is that respect level there because he's been there. He's been on the All-Star or not All-Star USA basketball teams.
Right.
He's trained with some of the most elite players in the league. So I think that's going to be a good balance. But to go back to your point without getting too drifted,
right.
You know, they are looking for obviously a 3-and-D kind of guys, guys who are good on the perimeter, good defenders, and they're also going to be looking for some sort of a guard. But
D'Lo maybe.
I don't think it's going to be D'Lo. I know everyone's like, oh, D'Lo. People, let me get this. I like D'Lo. Don't get me wrong. I like D'Lo. I do a lot. But think about this. I'm just going to paint this picture. And I don't like tweeting it because everyone thinks it's negative, but I'll explain myself here. So remember when Tyler Ulis was on the Suns?
Yes.
I mean, they brought him here because him and Book are close, right?
Right.
A lot of people knew that wasn't a good idea. I mean, they went to college together, like to have fun, blah, blah, blah. And then that whole video surfaced with Tyler getting in a fight, blah, blah, blah. And Book was kind of involved with that because he was trying to help his friend. When you have a guy like Devin Booker on your team, a franchise player who has the ability to be on multiple all-star teams, could eventually lead his team to the playoffs, you got to protect him at all costs. And you can't bring in any players, I don't care if they're our best friends, who are getting in any trouble off the court. People forget D'Lo, he just got arrested in Miami or wherever he got arrested.
Right.
I'm not going to hold that against him. People make mistakes. I don't care if you're smoking weed. I'm an advocate for weed smoking. As long as it doesn't affect your everyday performance, I don't care. But there are rules in place, and that's still illegal what he did and how he did it. So I look at it from a standpoint of like, okay, is that going to play a factor on Booker? Is that kind of behavior going to play a role in how Booker is next season if D'Lo is here? Is there going to be too much off the court fun and not enough on the court seriousness? That's just how I look at it.
Oh man,
think about it.
That's worrisome, isn't it? I mean, does that show lack of leadership from Booker, or is that more of the personality of a D'Lo?
Man, I don't know, because think about it. Like, I don't know what any of them are doing off the court, but like they're still able to produce at a high clip. That's the thing. So you saw D'Lo with the Nets. He had a great season. Book with the Suns, great season. I don't know what they're doing off the court on a daily basis, but at the same time, I look at that like, okay, you want to, I already know they want to try to get rid of whatever they can. I mean, I know that they're not happy with Rashawn. He got in trouble. Josh got in trouble. So it's like, why would you want to bring someone else who got in trouble? Like, Monty's not going to deal with this kind of stuff. Like, especially if you want to build a culture. Listen, Monty knows what goes on. All right. You guys have millions of dollars. Go have fun. Go do whatever the hell you want. But when it comes to the basketball court, you got to produce. You got to care. You got to be all in. I just don't know if they're still too young to be able to be mature and play together. LeBron and D Wade were already at a point in their careers where it was like, okay, they've proven that they can handle it. They can handle it at this point. They could be best friends, have their wine, and still produce on the court. When I look at this, I'm like, all right, I'm just worried for Booker and I'm worried for D'Lo. I'm worried for both of them as individuals. Because think about this: when you have a best friend, do you and your best friend not get in trouble together?
Yeah.
Me and my best friends like to cause trouble when we're together. All right, we like to go out, like to go have fun. So I look at it from the same standpoint where I'm like, when you're back in the day, you're in the classroom, your teachers would never pair you together with your besties, right? Because y'all would be causing disruptions. So that's how I look at it. I'm not hating on Booker. I'm not hating on D'Lo. I love them both. They are great guys. They've never done anything to make me think otherwise. But I just worry for both of their well-beings. But hey, they could prove me wrong. Hey, if they could play together and D'Lo could come here, great. If they can make it work, that is the only reason why I don't think D'Lo is going to come here. But I also heard, from sources that he is going to go to LA. I don't know for sure though. Again, D'Lo never told this to me. I don't know how Booker feels about all this. I don't know how any of them feel. I didn't talk to their agents, nothing. This is just from things that I hear and just from putting myself in their shoes. I mean, then again, let it happen. I mean, Book and D'Lo have known each other for years.
That's true.
That'd be great. But this is just my way of thinking.
So one last question about the Suns. They drafted Cam Johnson, obviously a nice wing player. I think he may be top 2 in terms of shooting in his class. He's so smooth. But what are they going to do with Kelly Oubre? They got rid of Warren. And then, so to me, are you going to pay Kelly 15, 16, 17? What's his price tag looking like?
I mean, did you just see what Harrison Barnes got offered?
Exactly. Which to me, to be fair, Harrison is an NBA champion, elite defender, very good 3-point shooter. I don't think that Kelly's going to demand that type of money, but I do think he's anywhere from 15 to 18. To me, if I'm the Suns, I'll let him go.
What?
I would. I don't know how you feel.
No. You keep Kelly there for the culture, man. That's a Valley boy. A lot of that plays are okay. So if you get rid of Kelly, people love Kelly. I mean, I don't know if you see his comment section, which is just out of control. I mean, he needs to mute his comments or can do that on Instagram because it gets a little out of control, but they're funny. But the fans love Kelly. Like, he just got a type of swag to him, and he brings it on the court too. He just plays with a level of intensity that you can't get rid of when it comes to that kind of, like, you want that guy on your team.
But you're paying them $18 million?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
There it is.
I would do what I can. Okay. Here's another thing though. You got to somehow figure out a way to unload Tyler Johnson. And I like Tyler a lot. I think he's a great backup point guard. He's smart.
19.25 per year.
Not that. No. You ain't that smart. Okay. You're not that
expensive.
He's very expensive, but obviously he came from the Heat. He played with one of the best, top 10, top 15 player in D-Wade.
Right.
I don't want to get my numbers wrong here. I don't want anyone screaming at me in my mentions being like, you ranked D-Wade in the top 10 and whatever. But, he played with D-Wade. He just has this grittiness about him, and he actually plays hard, and that's something. He has heart. Even when they were losing, this guy's playing. This guy's putting the team on his back, and I wouldn't want to lose him, but you got to figure out a way to pay Kelly. I think, the whole culture shifted when he got here, and you could feel it. Even when they were losing, they had so much fun still. Kelly, he just got this, like I said, like a swag about him that just like makes you smile when you're around him. You're like happy around him, and he brings it to the court. He's just an athletic guy. I mean, he might miss a few fast break dunks, but I mean, he does it. We've seen it.
Yeah,
but I would not want to. I would not let him walk. I like Kelly a lot.
Okay, that's fair. Are the Celtics better with Kyrie Irving or Kemba Walker?
Here we go with the hard-hitting questions. So technically, we haven't seen Kemba play with the Celtics, so I don't know how he's going to play with them. It didn't pan out the way we wanted it to with Kyrie there. He got hurt his first year, and the Celtics, went to the playoffs and actually did really well without him, in Jason Tatum's rookie year. But I also need to know what the Celtics are going to do if they do get Kemba. Are they going to bring in another person? Are they going to make some trades? I kind of need to know what that roster looks like.
That's fair.
But I do think, I've seen Kemba take over games, but I've also seen him facilitating the ball when his shot's not going in the way he wants it to. I've seen that. I've seen it live where I was like, damn, his shot's off, but and the Suns almost could have won that game, but then he was hitting shots. Tony Parker went off in the fourth quarter, which was always great to see. So, I mean, I got to know the whole dynamic there. Cause it's like, there was a lot of tension with Kyrie, Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier. There was a lot of Gordon Hayward. There was a lot of tension going on. So maybe bringing in Kemba. I don't know what they're going to do with the rest. Things might shift. But I love Kemba Walker. This would be a great move for the Celtics. We know Kyrie isn't staying, so they need to do something quick. And Kemba's that guy.
Is Kawhi Leonard staying with the Raptors, or is he going to the Clippers?
If I'm Kawhi, I'm going to the Raptors. And why would you not want to defend your title? Okay. Why would you not? First off, you get all these incentives. All right. You can eat everywhere for free. I mean, I know he's got all the money in the world, but that's still, guys, we still like things for free. Okay.
Yeah, we do.
I can afford a $5 coffee, but if they offer me a $5 coffee for free, oh, hell yeah, I'm taking that coffee for free. So I look at it from that standpoint where it's yes, I'm getting all these incentives. You can get a free penthouse, $1 million penthouse paid for. But those fans are loyal fans. The Raptors got a solid fan base. And even when they're not winning, they still got a solid fan base. They still show up. So I really hope he stays. I mean, Marc Gasol is going to stay. I know Danny Green's a free agent, which I think a lot of teams are going to look into that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the Lakers haven't been one of those teams yet to look into that. But Danny Green is a guy. I mean, I'm taking Danny Green over J.R. Smith. I'll tell you that much. But
in a heartbeat.
Yeah. But if Danny Green goes back, Kyle's there. I don't know why Kawhi would not want to go back. I mean, he just won a championship. I mean, I feel like there would be a missing chapter in a book, if he doesn't go back.
People keep asking me to ask you about Richaun Holmes, and do you think he'd be a good fit with the Kings?
I like Richaun. Yeah, I do. I mean,
but didn't you say he just got in trouble?
He did get in trouble in Miami, but I mean, this kind of stuff happens. It's weed, I mean, it's weed. But I liked Richaun. I thought he brought a level of intensity last year off the bench behind DeAndre. I mean, Igor played him. He did play some good minutes. I mean, he's a guy that's going to bring it every night. He's not very consistent with a shot, but he's got this little. It's kind of like a hook shot, but it's right at the free throw line, right at the elbow too. He just got this nice little shot, which he's pretty consistent with. But I mean, I like him. He's going to bring, like I said, he's going to bring that aggression. He's from Chicago.
As a backup center, though, right?
As a backup, not a starter. He's not a starter, but he's got that Chicago attitude. He's a good player. I like him a lot. He brought it. I mean, I think if we could have put his motor in DeAndre, I think that's what we wanted to see. DeAndre has all these skills and he's athletic, but then if we would have put Richaun's motor in DeAndre, he would have been unstoppable. Unstoppable. Like Richaun's just got this attitude, and he's on the court, he's just fierce. So I mean, any team would be lucky to have him as a backup for sure.
Okay, so we talked about Kemba, Kawhi, Klay Thompson. Is he staying with the Warriors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
KD, is he staying with the Warriors, or is he going to the Nets or to the Knicks?
This is a tough one, only because that Nike t-shirt threw me off. Because we were all so for sure, okay, KD's out of here. But now that shirt came out and it said, okay, he's, staying in the Bay Area, he's staying in San Francisco, it threw me off. If I'm KD, I would love to be paired up with Kyrie in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, not in New York.
No. The Knicks, nah, that's just completely gone. No, okay. They're a lost cause. I mean, I don't know how they're going to attract anyone there, to be honest. I mean, the Nets have proven to be the team to be. I mean, you're still in New York. New York's New York. And the Nets, I mean, they're trying to figure that out. I mean, their whole point of bringing Kyrie there was so that they can also get KD. But regardless, KD's not even playing next season.
Fine. So Harrison Barnes has been reported that he will get 4-year deal, roughly 22 per season. Is that a number that if you were Vlade Divac, would you pay that number? No,
probably not. No. I mean, is this guy going to bring you to the promised land? I mean, that's what I want to know.
He won't, but he is a guy that I feel like is a guy who has contributed to a lot of success.
He has.
For the Warriors, right? And if you're the Kings, I get it. I would have liked to pay, 16 to 18 mil per season, but the fact of the matter is we don't get to dictate what the market is. And the market for a player and a market like the Kings, who is a little bit smaller, can you pay the extra $4 million?
Yes.
I think you have to, because if you don't and then you strike out in free agency, you just gave up on, Justin Jackson, who was a lottery pick for the Kings, and you're left without a small forward again. So you might just have to pay that. And if he does accept it, good for him. The crazy part about all this is that he gave up a player option of $25 million. And I said this the day he gave it up. I said there was no way that he would not opt in, because he would never get paid 25 mil per season again. And obviously he's taking less money, and to me that's encouraging, because what that shows is that the front office of the Kings is not the same dysfunctional front office that we've seen throughout the years. Now he's taking less money to potentially give the Kings more options in free agency. Maybe Al Horford, maybe they can trade for a Clint Capella type player, right? But any of these players, would they get? Do you think that these players would can give the Kings a chance to possibly contend for a playoff spot next season?
Yeah, I mean, they were close. I mean, last season we saw. I mean, they kind of like fell off toward the end there, but I mean, I am sold on De'Aaron Fox. I love his game. I love Buddy. I watched you guys last season, and I thought there was potential there. It was kind of like watching. Like, I feel like the Kings and the Hawks are going to surprise people over the next couple of years. Just in terms of what they've been doing in the off seasons, what they've been doing in terms of drafting, developing their players. I really think you guys are maybe like 2 pieces away from really figuring something out. And I really liked Dave. I really liked him. I was really sad to see him get fired. We knew it was going to happen. But I've had a chance to talk with him a couple of times, and I just
great guy.
He's a great guy. And I love his philosophy. I love his outlook. He didn't even know who I was, and we were just talking. We were chopping it up this is at USA back in 2015 or something, USA Basketball in Vegas, and we were just talking for a solid 30 minutes, just about hoops, about life. And I really liked him, but I still think that they're in a good position right now. So yes, I do think the Kings can be put back on the map with just maybe 1 or 2 solid pickups this offseason.
Did you like Luke Walton's hire?
Yeah, I like Luke. I know everyone can say what they want, but I think it's going to be tough for anyone to come in and coach LeBron. I think that's hard to do. I mean, he's already gotten other coaches fired, and we kind of saw the same thing back in the day with Dwight Howard. He kept getting coaches fired. I mean, it's tough to deal with these personalities, big egos. But I do like Luke, and I think people need to give this guy a chance and understand he is a good coach, and he's a good person too. But man, you could just tell how stressed he was last year. Man, you could just see it in his face. He was just am I going to have a full head of hair after I'm done with the season? He just, you could tell that it was just a very stressful situation.
If you're Jimmy Butler, do you force yourself to Houston in a sign and trade deal, or do you stay with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and run that back? They were a Kawhi Leonard shot away from being in the Eastern Conference Finals. What would you do if you were him specifically?
I would stay with Philly.
Okay.
I'm staying with Philly. When you look at this, James Harden produces big numbers in the regular season, and Kobe's even said the way that he plays, you're not going to win a championship that way. And James Harden agreed. And they were still not able to do anything in the playoffs this year. So I look at this from a standpoint of James Harden needs the ball in his hands at all times. And we saw in Philly that all those guys were able to play together. They could play together. I mean, Jimmy Butler was stepping up, Joel stepping up, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. I mean, that was a good, nice mix of guys. And everyone's I don't know how they're all going to play together. They figured out a way. But we've seen that James Harden can't seem to figure out a way to play with other guys. And it's not a stab at James because he's unbelievable, but just the way he plays basketball is just, you're not going to win that way. You're not going to win that way, I don't think. I mean, you need to have more than one player contributing. So if I'm Jimmy Butler, I am not going to Houston. I'm not dealing with that.
That's fair. That's
What
fair.
about you? What do you think?
It's tough. It just depends. What's your philosophy like? Are you an analytical person? Because if you admit, if you're objectively speaking about the Rockets, and we've heard the ex players, the Scottie Pippens of the world, say, "Well, you can't win by playing this certain way. This James Harden ISO ball." But then in the same breath, they'll be like, "Well, he's the best player in the NBA, and he needs more help." So he gets
How much help?
criticized no matter what.
How
Like,
much help do you need, though?
right. He's regardless. My point is, he's in a lose-lose situation. And if you think about it, 2 years
Oh yeah.
ago, they were a Chris Paul away from beating arguably the best team to ever be assembled. So this year they weren't as good. They lost Trevor Ariza. They lost Bamute. If they had that same team from last year, that exact same team, they would have beaten this year's Golden State Warriors, right? So to be honest, that team that
Debatable.
lost to them last year, in my opinion, that Rockets team is a lot better than a lot of the NBA champions that we've seen throughout history. And it's unfortunate that they ran into such a great, an all-time great team like the Warriors.
I mean, I agree on that, but I still feel like I don't think that they would have gotten past them this year, even with that team.
Nobody would have got past through that damn Warriors team. They're so damn
No,
good.
no.
Name me a team that would have been that Warriors team.
Besides the Raptors.
I'm talking about a healthy Warrior.
A
Look, I
healthy
hate the
Warriors, I
Warriors
know,
and I love
I
the
know.
Raptors, but the
A
Raptors would not have
healthy,
beaten this team.
no, they would not have beaten the healthy Warriors team. No.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
KD was
So
good, if Clay was good, no.
right.
I totally agree 100% with you. They would have figured it.
That's why you can make an argument for the Rockets last year that they just ran into the the worst case scenario with that ultimate team that was pretty much unbeatable. And if you compare that Rockets team statistically throughout history, they are a lot better than most teams that ended up winning the championship. Do you not see that team beating that 04 Pistons team? I mean, there are a lot of teams that they could have beaten, but the fact that they ran into the wrong team at the wrong time to me is kind of like, yeah, we can blame James Harden and we can blame Daryl Morey, but at the end of the day, he put the best product in. He pretty much put out the best product that he could have put out, and it's just unfortunate, right? That's just how things go sometimes. Just like George Karl leading those Sonic teams against those Jordan teams, it's just how much more can you do as a head coach to beat a guy like Michael Jordan in the finals? You can only do so much. Talent always prevails.
Well, it's a lot of it too is luck. As you mentioned, a lot of it's luck. It's like you can only do so much, and I love the fact that like Daryl's getting all this hate and we need to get rid of him, blah, 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 blah. But like he's still doing better than most guys who are in front offices who have been in position for years, or owners who've been owning a team for years and never assembling anything, never getting, to the championship. But a lot of it has to do with luck. I mean, there's always certain factors that play into winning a championship. Luck is certainly one of them. Like you said, injuries, things happen. And, the Rockets were very close to potentially, taking that team out and, also just having faith that you can win. And the Raptors had that this year, but they also, I'm not going to take credit away, but like they did get lucky that the Warriors weren't at full strength. I mean, that's any fan or any player or any person watching the game, media personalities, people who are in the media, we want to see a fully healthy playoffs, right? That's the goal. We want to see the best against the best. So I'm not going to take away what the Raptors did because they won it, regardless of luck, regardless of who was injured. But again, every year it's like we're looking at all these rosters. There's always like someone hurt, or there's always something that was off, something, there's always like, you can put almost like an asterisk next to every championship if you want to like play that game where it's like, okay, well, they could have won if this didn't happen. But I just think like everything's meant to be. But again, I forgot where the main point was to that.
Yeah,
but
well, you're right. We have to give the Raptors all the credit in the world. They didn't have a lottery pick on their team. Like that's the first time in NBA history. So shout out to their GM.
Yep.
And the great scouting work that he did with getting my twin Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, I love Fred.
I
Man.
mean, he was out there getting buckets left and right. So you have to give those type of teams credit. Again, I'm not taking anything away from the Raptors, but if we are objectively speaking, it would have been a lot tougher for them to be a full, healthy Warriors team. But talking about depth, this is actually a perfect segue for the Lakers. If you're Rob Pelinka with those $32 million that he has available to him, would you go after the third star? Kind of how the Warriors are constructed, right? With 4 All-Stars, 5 if you add Boogie, but no depth. Or would you build around LeBron and AD and just go get 3 really good players and take that Raptors approach where you had 8 guys deep?
See, that's really hard. It's really hard because we've seen it done both ways. You know,
Right.
we've seen it done both ways.
But you're only an injury away from, say, like the Warriors. They were pretty much derailed after,
if one guy goes out, like
right.
if AD gets it, and AD is injury prone. We've seen it. He's very injury prone. So without AD, it's going to be last season for LeBron all over again, where it's just LeBron playing with a bunch of kids.
At least last year he had some talent around him.
He did. I love Kyle. I love Kyle Kuzma.
I love Brandon Ingram. I love Lonzo.
So do I. I liked all those guys. But after that whole thing was leaked, that completely. I think the Lakers, if LeBron stayed healthy and none of that stuff got leaked, they could have made it to the playoffs.
No doubt.
Easily, if none of that stuff happened. But the second you start leaking in some of that information, that's going to make these players. I mean, these guys need to stand up for themselves, and I think they were just kind of like fed up at that point. But what do you do, man? I think you might want to use that money to get a bunch of good players.
I agree. I agree.
Because just the rate that they're going right now, if you want to compare to last season, and when you just mentioned one injury away, everything is ruined.
Yeah.
I would go after multiple good players. However, I do think D'Lo is going to end up there for some reason. I just think it's going to happen. And I would love to see that. But see, this is why I'm not a GM, because I would be like, all right, I don't know. Like, do I want a hot coffee today? Do I want iced coffee? Like, I don't know. What am I going to eat for breakfast? I have no idea. How am I supposed to make a decision of this magnitude? How am I supposed to figure that out? But ultimately, I do think LeBron and AD are going to be discussing this a lot. I do think that they're gonna also help make the decision. Right. 100%. And Rich Paul's going to be in there too, being like, all right, we want this guy or we want this.
Because he waived his $4 million bonus just to give the Lakers more money to spend.
Not that he needed $4 million anyways.
Right.
These guys, man. I get it though. The more money you have, the more money you want. I mean, that's just naturally how it works. But I would go after multiple good players. Make sure you do have the depth just in case someone does go down. I mean, we look at a team like, for example, like you did say, the Raptors have a ton of depth. Didn't have a ton of star players on their team, G League guys. But then you also look at the Clippers. No one except Patrick Beverley truly felt in their heart that they were going to make the playoffs. He knew before the season started that they were making the playoffs, with or without Tobias. But, you got a team like that where it's like you don't have a ton of star power, but you have a bunch of guys who
play hard.
Play very hard. And that just goes to show.
Playing hard is a skill. I don't know why people just like that's a skill.
It's a skill. The Suns could have had some more wins.
No doubt.
The damn Warriors. They had some pretty nice wins last season where I'm like, all right, where is this level of effort every night? Okay. So I don't want to hear the whole, we don't have talent. You guys have talent. It's just a matter of wanting to play. And you see the guys on the Clippers, like they want to play. Patrick Beverley wants to play. Montrezl Harrell wants to play. Lou Will, these guys have been in the league, like they want to play. They have something to play for. They got pride. So, I would take, the guys who aren't the stars, who have heart, who want to be there. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and when I see the Clipper situation, they have a great front office.
Yep.
A great head coach, very good players who play hard, if you add a guy like a Kawhi Leonard, make no mistake about it, that team will be at the bare minimum a 4 seed in the West. Like,
yeah,
at the bare minimum. So with that said, kind of going back to your point about you being a GM and you having a tough time making decisions, I think it really does come down to philosophy. How do you see this league? To me, I would not build around the big anymore. I'm a guard-oriented wing type player, and I have this debate with Kings fans all the time. They see Marvin Bagley, or some Kings fans, they want him to be a DMC type player who averaged 28 and 12. But I'm like, at the expense of winning basketball, that's not winning basketball to me. You want your guards and your wings to be the main guys, and you want the offense to go around them. So with that said, I would build around my guys, and my philosophy and my offense would revolve around my guards. So when I make decisions, that's what it would come down to. So if you're the Lakers, if you believe you got 2 top 5 guys, why would you not get 3 really good, B-level type players as opposed to an A player with no depth, with maybe a mid-level exception? I just think they should go for at least 3 good players, like a Danny Green, maybe JJ Redick. Put shooters around these ultimate players. Danny
Green was absolutely perfect. I mean, I think he's that guy like who could fit in that system well because he has the playoff experience. He has the 3-point shooting. He can defend. I mean, he played under Coach Popovich. So I just look at a guy like that, and you could see what he did with the Raptors this year. He took over a couple games. He made the shots when it mattered most. He came through in the clutch. Those are the kinds of guys that you need. But to go to your point about building around guards, I think that's completely necessary.
Right.
Whether it's a point guard or a shooting guard, I mean, that's like that's the guy.
Or a wing, or
yeah, that's like the guy who like controls everything. That's a guy who you need that. You need that kind of guy, that one guy, someone who could take over a game, make the right plays, be a shooter. That's the way the NBA is now. So I would agree with you on that. And I wouldn't surround my team around a big.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Even the greats like ADs, the Joel Embiids, they're injury prone, and it's just hard to have these guys on the floor at all times. Joel has to get babied all the time. Every time that I cover them, they literally have to bring out the whole massage table to the court, and I'm like, what's that really showing your other guys, that you have to baby this guy, you hold this guy, or you're playing favoritism towards this guy, as opposed to, dude, just get your stuff done in the locker room like everyone else. Stop being a baby. Stop holding his hand. He's an adult. But I get it. These kids come in with so much entitlement, right, from AAU basketball to college, and to me that shows lack of leadership, right? And when you can't show that you're a true leader, like a Jimmy Butler type player, like a LeBron type player, then your organization, to me, is not in the right hands long term. Now, you can have short term success. A lot of these teams do. But again, with that said, what's in the comings for Ashley Nevel? What type of projects are you looking for? Or are you looking for? What type of projects are you working on?
I'm always looking for projects, and I'm always working on projects. I'll be at the NBA Summer League.
Okay.
Still trying to figure out the logistics on that. Yeah, it's tough being like your own kind of media person, I guess you could say, just because I'm always figuring out everything, like, okay, what company am I going to work with? Like, basically freelance. So I produce content for different companies. So trying to figure out the logistics on that, getting people hired to work with me. I'm working on that, and then it's just a lot of stuff. So for right now, NBA Summer League, that's the first target, which is next week. I'll be there next Thursday so the 4th to the 12th. I'll be out there for a little over a week. And then
it's going to be hot.
It's going to be real hot. I'm used to it, though, but I'm staying inside. I mean, Phoenix is just as hot, believe me. So I do my best to just stay inside majority of the time. But, yeah, so I'll be in Vegas, and then I'll probably be back out in LA for – just some more off-season stuff, some of the runs. Definitely want to go check out some more of the runs, go to the Drew League again. That was fun.
That's fun.
And then maybe, I don't know, I do want to get back to Chicago. It's my hometown. Maybe go when the Big Three is there in August. That's a possibility. maybe Miami. You know, there's a couple places, but probably end up in LA and Chicago. Those are probably the 2 spots I'll end up. I mean, LA is super close. That's just like a couple 6-hour drive and hour and a half flight and like nothing. So one of those 2. What about you? What do you have in the mix?
So we got the California Classic starting
Okay.
Monday. So I'll be on my scooter on one leg, just trying to do interviews, trying to take some video. I'm not gonna, you know, quit on my people. I'm there for the long haul, and people know that I'll give everything to be there. So for sure, we'll be there providing covers. Now, I won't be in Vegas like I am every single year.
Oh no.
Yeah, I won't be there, but there is a big thing that I don't know if I should disclose it until it's guaranteed, but I can kind of hint at it. We will probably go to the Bahamas with Buddy Hield on the 21st.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
And he's hosting he pretty much gets together the top 24 players in the Bahamas. It's a 1-week camp. It's super intense, and we'll be there covering that.
Make sure he gets you some conch salad and conch fritters.
Okay.
Tell him I told you that. Conch fritters and conch salad, must try. But okay, go on.
Oh, you've been to the Bahamas?
No, I just know it's a culture thing there.
Okay.
I know it's something that they like to eat. It's very different. It's like raw fish type thing.
I love raw fish.
But it's
I love poke. Is it close to poke?
I think it's different. I think it's a little more fishy, but I'm not sure. That's just something that I know that they like there. It's like conch fritters or conch salad. So you could have it. You'd probably like the fritters more. I think it's like fried. I'm not sure. But definitely you gotta get yourself immersed in the culture there. And I know that's one thing that they do. Well,
hopefully I don't have to, you know, crutch myself over there or be on the scooter. I'm definitely trying to rehab and ice my ankle every single day so I can, you know, walk over there, and stuff happens. It is what it is, man. But Ashley, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Of course, anytime.
Appreciate you. Where can people follow you?
They could just follow me on Instagram, Twitter at Ashley Nevel. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on everything. So they could just follow me wherever. Same thing with YouTube. YouTube, Ashley Nevel.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys on the next one.